when somebody walk in, because when she come,
Huh? When she walk
Dr.
in, cause it gonna distract her.
yeah, that's what I'm.
No, she walk in, I mean,
She gonna sit over there,
Okay.
and then we're gonna say, we'll stop and then say, now we're gonna ask our kids to come up,
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, y'all ready?
Yes.
okay, we are live.
All right, go. Hello. Today you are with National Women in Agricultural Association of Waco, Texas. And we're so excited to have you with us today. Today we would like to focus on March as Women History Month. And we have two ladies that we're going to be talking about and to who have made an impact in the lives of many people, have changed things that needed to be changed, and looking to change things. And National Women in Agriculture Association is an organization that looks to uplift sisterhood, uplift people, and make sure that you're eating and growing healthy. Now, we have a community garden in East Waco where we are growing organic, fresh produce, and we are looking for volunteers to come and help us in our garden. But we want to go back to a woman named Fannie Lou Hamer. Some of you may be familiar with her life, and some of you may not be. But she was a woman who looked to improve the lives of the people that lived around her and around the whole world. But due to the fact of the conditions of segregation, racism, Jim Crow, and Willie Lynch syndrome that was going on at the time that Fannie Lou Hamer was going on, she had a struggle to make those things happen. Fannie Lou Hamer was a woman who insisted that the Black people in the state of Mississippi, which she was from, that they were registered to vote. And that came with a price. Her strong persistence came with a price. She was beaten and put in jail for just trying to get people to vote in the state of Mississippi. Not only that, Fannie Lou Hamer was a woman who saw foreigners, which we are. She saw them as a means of making income that will help the people by growing their own food. And she organized the Farmer Improvement Cooperative. And that cooperative was strong and live for many years. And it brought economical development to the state of Mississippi and to the farmers. Something kind of what we could do today. Now, ladies, do you have something that you want to say about Miss Fannie Lou Hamer, who was a strong woman? And we're celebrating her this month for Women History Month. Do you have anything you'd like to say about her?
I would like to say it's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight with the team, and we look forward to you hitting that link and hearing our program tonight. And Fannie Lou Hamer, part of National Women in Ag, we hosted a conference on last spring in June, and we had the opportunity to have a young lady come and do dramatization of Fannie Lou Hamer, and it was a blessing to the city of Waco. She came in with the message and she left us inspired to continue the work perhaps that Fannie Lou Hamer was trying to gather the people, bring them together to be able to make an impact in the community. And that's what National Women in Ag does. Our goal is to make an impact within the community from the health perspective, the decrease in the high blood pressure, diabetes, family togetherness, because we have families that come into our garden and volunteer together, and that's important. So what we are wanting you to take away tonight is the value of Fannie Lou Hamer and the Black History Moment, recognizing women.
Right. Janelle, what do you have to say about Miss Fannie Lou Hamer?
Well, Fannie Lou Hamer, she was insistent, even after she recovered from her unmerciful beatings.
Yes.
She returned to Mississippi
Right.
and organized registered voters.
Yes, she did.
And just to show you the times then, it hasn't changed so much now. It is just labeled differently. But she worked before she went on this bus ride to get more voters. 18 years, and after she did that, she lost her job. And
Right.
she didn't stop. Not only did she lose her job, her husband lost her job, and she
Right.
still decided to go forward. And she worked with the Democratic Party.
Right.
She worked with Dr. Martin Luther King,
Mhm.
and she didn't give up.
She did not give up.
She just continued. She got stronger and stronger.
Right.
And all they wanted was to be equal. You work along equally with other people, with all races. And so you want to be treated like a human being. And
Absolutely.
this is what it's all about. And we're still today trying to do the same thing.
The same thing.
So if we go back in our history, no matter what happened, we know what happened. We lived through that. We're going through that. We cannot give up. It is our God-given right. That's what the American dream says.
Right.
Yeah.
So we need to be treated right. And even if we can't say anything, deep down inside, we're rising up to hold our heads up,
Right.
to be strong, and to believe in God. You know, it all comes together. You know, what Dr. King stood for.
Mhm.
He died for that,
Oh, yeah.
that we might just have rights, just like the other person.
Mhm.
If we were a different color, we wouldn't be treated different.
Mm.
But because all people are different,
Mhm.
you know, we may have a different color, hue, and all that, but deep down inside, we're human beings. We should be treated equally.
Equally. And you know what? I was reading about the lives of Fannie Lou Hamer, and what really stood out to me, which I think is still going on today, she and her husband wanted to have children, but due to some health problems,
Mm.
she was not able to have children. So when she went to the doctor,
Uh-huh.
the doctor, without her consent, gave her a hysterectomy. Without her consent. Now, can you imagine? And it's, you know, I was reading a little further down, and it was saying how this trend of the doctors just giving women hysterectomy in the state of Mississippi became just an epidemic,
Mm.
taking their rights from them.
Birthright.
But you know, I like how Miss Fannie Lou Hamer refused to give up, refused to
Right.
sit down.
Right.
She was determined, regardless of her physical problems that she was enduring due to her beating, due to what the doctor had done to her, she was still determined to make things happen in the state of Mississippi. She was so determined. She, even back in 1950s and 60s, she ran for Congress
Mhm.
and ran for a state representative. Now, can you imagine
Back in that time.
the pressures that was up on her and her family, trying to run to be a state representative, trying to be a leader. She had all the odds against her, but yet she was determined that she was going to still be a leader,
Right.
still stand strong. And, you know, it's ironic, Miss Hamer died this month, March the 14th.
Mm.
And she was 59 years old when she died. And her favorite song that she loved to sing, and she was a singer, I found that out too. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. And I know without a doubt she was letting her light shine all over the world. Not only did she organize the Freedom Farmers Cooperative, she organized the Freedom Party, Democratic Party.
Yes.
Mm.
She organized that to try to get the African American people together to vote so they could have a voice in the Democratic Convention. So it was just wonderful to read about her life and her legacy and all the wonderful things she has done. And I just hope that some women, and many women I know are looking at her life and are picking up the mantle and taking it and going forth. Because truly, Who do you think of some women that you know of that perhaps, maybe they don't live in Mississippi, but they have picked up the mantle? You can think of some woman that's doing that now today?
First person that comes to my mind is Michelle Obama.
Okay.
She was an African-American female that stood behind her African-American
There
husband
you go.
as he served as president for 2 terms.
For 2 terms.
2
There
terms.
you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Are you saying that they're living today?
Yeah, living. Can you think of a woman that's picking up the mantle, that's taking a stand, and
Well, Angela Davis is still going strong.
Angela
Angela
Davis.
Davis.
Yes. And we can't forget about Kamala Harris, right?
Yeah.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris,
Yes,
right,
yes.
there you go. Those are women that I think Fannie Lou Hamer today will just be up cheering them on,
Oh, yeah.
telling them thank you. All right, so we've talked about a great woman, Fannie Lou Hamer, who has done great things in the past, but now we're getting ready to talk to someone who is doing great things now. And absolutely right now and in the city where we live of Waco, Texas. And so we're going to do a little transition and we're going to bring on our special guest for tonight and her assistant, I believe, Dr. Patricia Igehard. And we're going to bring on her guest assistant, Maria. Very. So we're going to ask them to come out to the stage.
Transitioning.
How you doing?
How are you? All righty.
And you have your questions?
All right, thank you for having
Yes.
us today. And we're excited to have you.
And I'm very happy to be here.
All right.
It's wonderful to see us working together
Yes,
in
yes, yes.
unity.
Right. And you brought along special guest,
Hi, I'm Maria Millhouse.
Maria Millhouse. So glad to have her.
And she's acted as consultant with us.
Oh, all right.
And she's the one that created the content for the web, for the Waco Alpha.
Okay.
And she was on our board at one point.
And one more.
And maybe on our board again at some key point.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to start this off asking you, what is your vision for the Alpha Theater on Clifton Street? What is your vision? Who
My-
wants to answer that?
Okay. My vision is that it would become what I would call a performance center for children. The musical and theatrical performance center for youth. I think our kids are getting enough in sports, which is teaming, learn how to team, do teamwork,
Right.
but they need something that when they're alone, that would encourage the inside of them.
Right.
So if we created, let them learn music,
Okay.
everyone learn an instrument,
Mhm.
or learn how to do drama. Because a lot of the things children are learning and they are copying, they're really doing drama. They see an adult do it and then they practice it.
Mhm.
So we would help them to understand what drama is, and we'll help them to get something they could carry along in their life.
Okay.
And so that is, and it's for our kids. And I can say in my own life that I'm a 1962 Carver School graduate.
Mhm.
And I can say in my own life that taking the piano lessons from Miss Anthony, you know, Miss Anthony, and helped me along.
Mhm.
Because in those days, things were not all good for us in terms of this still segregated. But I could take my piano, and when my mother said no, I could do something, I could bang it. And it became also, I could use it to make myself feel good on the inside.
Great.
And I still, in my age now, 81, this morning, I felt like getting on the keyboard and singing and playing. And it brings so much joy on the inside.
Right.
So what is happening, I've seen, we have sponsored, helped to sponsor one of the Pee Wee football teams. But then if they start practicing all the way up early and get all the way to high school, and then they don't get a scholarship or anything, then they're right back.
Yeah.
And since they haven't developed something of their own that they could carry individually, they may tend to gravitate into trouble.
Okay.
That's
So,
well put.
right.
Yeah.
So Maria, you work along with Dr. Igehart in planning this vision. What do you see also as something for the future for this Afro Theater?
I think the goal is to revitalize East Waco even more, extending it to Clifton.
Okay.
There's a lot of things going on Elm, and we want to just bring the attention a little bit further into those historical spots, such as the Alpha Theater. The Alpha Theater was the first Black theater for this area. And only, from what I understand, there was not another one since. And so our project is to bring the arts, to cultivate creativity in our youth, to make the connection with the schools, to build relationships with programs from elementary, from even preschool, all the way to Baylor. There are programs that Baylor can offer, and they can collaborate with the Alpha Theater. And if we can start them an initiative in preschool, we can watch them matriculate all the way to Baylor and get scholarships, not only in art, but music, which is a diversion of art.
Yes.
Also drama. So there are a lot of things that this Black Box Theater will be able to encompass, and we can build relationships and build community.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I like that.
Well, I have a question,
Okay, go ahead.
and my question is, how old is the Alpha Theater, which is located at 2021 Clifton Street?
The construction, I believe, began in 1946, 47. And I think performances were going on, movies were going on till about 1970. And there were three men that came back from World War II and realized they needed a theater. It was Pryor, Bonner, and the third one, Bonner, Pryor, and Weaver. So it was the three men that went to the bank to try to get a loan, and they could not receive a loan at that time because they thought it was frivolous what they wanted to do. And on the side told them to go to the Reconstruction Finance. And they went and borrowed $30,000 plus, maybe. And then Clarence Igehart and H.D. Igehart built the theater because my uncle had a cement mixer and everything, and he built a lot of things. He built a lot of the sidewalks over at Baylor. If you look, you see Igehart on that. And so he and those two got together and built. So it's a team maybe of 5 men. And that put it together. And it was called Alpha because Alpha was first.
Okay,
Amen.
awesome.
So it was that hope that we would come together in unity and be able to build up things that would last. Now, it was made a historic building in 2022 with the help of Charles Perkins.
Oh, wow.
He's the one that walked it through because he had been working a lot in Goshen and making graves and other churches there, historical. So it's now called the Historical Alpha Theater,
Okay.
and it has a marker that he was able to get for us so that it can never be torn down.
Oh, great. That's great.
So what we need to do is to get the money to renovate it for the children. And once it's renovated, the state of Texas will maintain the exterior like it does the Texas Ranger Museum and other things.
Oh, that's great.
So what we need is a community to come together and get the donations together so we can get it going for our children. Because time is changing so rapidly in our country and in our cities and around.
Yes.
So when we take responsibility, then we can ensure that we will have a generation of people that will be able to carry on.
All right. That's
It's
great.
beautiful.
Well, how do you remember the Alpha Theater?
Well, I remember it only by passing by because my family was the Holiness Church of God in Christ. So my mother didn't allow me to go to the theater with JoJo because she was fearful of what may happen there.
Mhm.
So I was in church on the nights and the days.
Okay.
But I do remember it passing by. And
Now, we are fortunate to have a person like you, upstanding, spiritual. And I had the pleasure of meeting your sister. We were very close, Dorcas
yes,
Ida Hart.
my baby sister.
And she would tell me about you and Naomi, and then about your father, Samuel, and your mother, Susie.
Stephen was my dad.
Stephen,
Yes.
Stephen, and some of the other Ida Harts. So upstanding, always tried to do the best, and very, very intelligent. Dorcas would always brag about you. So I tell you what, I'm excited about the event, and I'm giving a donation tonight. It's not much, but I'm giving a donation.
All right.
Now, I'm gonna tell you what I remember about on that street. I'm a graduate of Paul Quinn College, very proud of Paul Quinn. And on a Sunday and during the weekend, our fellow students would go to the Alpha Grill
Oh, yeah.
and right there. So I never much went to that. I kind of stayed on campus. I'm a transplant from Chicago. I almost should say I'm from Waco. I've been here off and on, back and forth so much over 25 years. So I'm proud of what you're doing. Kudos.
I give only all the glory goes to God.
Yes.
It is interesting that you mentioned the Alpha Grill because a part of the vision for the Alpha Theater is to have an eatery that is connected to the theater. So maybe that might be called the East Waco Historic Alpha Grill once it's done. But the vision is to make sure we have a place for people to eat, fellowship, and for the children to eat and fellowship.
Yeah.
And also, it could become like a dinner theater because the distance between the grill and the theater is about that much. And so I think once we get it going, because there are people that really want to see us do well in the city. And so once we can start the renovation in any way, then they may say, we'll donate that to you.
Right.
Okay.
So that's why we need the help of everyone, because it could be at some point, it may be the only evidence that we were in East Waco, unless we have some other historical buildings.
So can you tell us how much money will it take to get that building up and running and going?
2.5 million.
$2.5 million.
In that being said, we do have a goal of 2.5 million, but we have it broken down in phases and stages of progression. So it's not that we're trying to have 2.5 million to start the project. We have actually started the project. We ran into a little bit of issues with the city and the permit, and now that we've worked through those things, we can move forward. And you could give by going to either Just As I Am Ministry, which is JAIMI.org, or you can go directly to the East Waco Historic Alpha Theater, which is it's wacoalpha.org.
Yes, go there
wacoalpha.org
To donate.
to
to
donate.
donate.
Yes.
And also you get the history, you see photos of the Weaver Pride. And those men that show them with books, and that had been an article written by Mary Jo, a lady that written it once. It was given to us a number of years ago. It was given to us about 10 or 11 years ago, and she written the story, had the photos of them over making plans and how they were going about to do it.
So do you have levels of sponsorships of your, for that, or do you just give any amount? How do you do that?
Okay,
Can you tell
level,
us?
you want to tell them?
Yes, ma'am. The levels of sponsorship right now are the Friends of the Theater, which is $100 level, Community Patron, which is $250 level. The Silver Sponsor is the $500 level. The Gold Sponsor is $1,000 level. The Platinum Sponsor is $2,500 if that's the level. And then our Legacy Benefactor is $5,000. So any of those, any amount, any increments that you care to give to the Alpha Theater would be greatly appreciated.
Okay.
And for those that are giving in the latter part, you can have your name right when I tell them about how their name could be engraved.
So one of the, we do have several different campaigns that we're building towards. So one of them is a brick. And so I don't know if you all remember those clear bricks in the front of the theater where the windows were. Well, directly under that will be bricks and names for people that want to sponsor a brick. So that will be a small campaign that we'll launch for about a 6-month period. And then we'll move to Capitol Building.
Oh, okay. Right.
And it may be good for people that have children, grandchildren, and so forth to see. They could come in and ask great-grandmother.
Mhm.
Because I think the ancestors we have is so important to me. When I look at my
Yes.
grandmother, and that lived on the corner of Edgeway and Kellum, okay, and how spiritual she was with her 12 children. She had 9 sons and 3 daughters, and my dad was one of the middle ones. And so, and I think in getting, and we called ourselves Just As I Am Ministries, you probably asked that, because when I came to the city 20 years ago, it was in the height of the crack epidemic in our neighborhood and in our area. So in East Waco and South Waco. And then when I saw some brothers in the vacant lots between East over there, Preston, Sherman on East Live Oak, I went out to see them and talk to them because I had lost my younger brother, who had been a homeless person that had passed away at age 35. And the Lord said, "Did you love your brother?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You got to love every one of these men as if they were your brother." And that's where the love began.
I have
Just
a
as I am.
question.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
for sharing.
Mhm.
It says you have a PhD degree.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you give us your educational background?
Oh dear. Okay.
Just a glimpse of it. You don't
All
have-
right. I started 3 years at Prairie View.
Oh, wait a
I'm married.
minute. Go ahead.
Scholarships because I was valedictorian at Carver.
Oh,
And then, there was a young man from Temple that I married at the end of my junior year,
wait a minute. I'm from Temple. What was his name?
Lance Shaw.
Shaw. I remember.
Had a
him.
brother
Shaw.
named Vance,
Yeah.
and sisters. So Lance,
I'm familiar.
so married Lance. And then he had just come out of the Navy, so we went off to New Mexico.
Okay.
And so I graduated the following year from New Mexico State with a BS in music education. And then then I got another master's in natural sciences because we moved to Arizona from New Mexico. And then I was teaching high school there, high school math. So I was able to get. And then I decided I needed a doctorate. And so the Arizona State professor said, "Well, you got to go east." So I applied to Cornell and to New York University. And then when I went to New York University, they told me I was a little too old now. They were looking for 19-year-old graduates. And suggested I go to State University of New York at Stony Brook. So I went there and got a master's in mathematics. And then went on and then got a master's. Then went on to, came back to New York University, ignoring the gentleman that told me not to come. And got a master's there, and then transferred to the Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey, and got a doctorate there. So a BS, 3 masters, and a PhD in mathematics.
A very inspirational educational journey.
Right.
Yeah. that's
And so
awesome.
Maria, can you tell us about your business? You have a business or how you are helping Dr. Eigerhorn with your business?
I am a former executive director for a nonprofit, and so I think the challenges and the road that I took have led me to a point that I want to help and give back. I do love small businesses. I love minority-owned businesses, so I try to do my best to support them in any way that I could possibly support them at what capacity is needed. I am now the project director for the Heart of Texas Workforce Center. So I am getting back into helping Dr. Igerhart a little bit more so that we can get the Alpha Theater, because we started this a few years ago, and we want to circle back to make sure that while she's here, we give her flowers, one, for having the vision to be here, and also to help her get to where she needs to be. She's now 81 years old, and it's a blessing for her to be here. So we celebrate that life. And one of the things that I'd love to be able to do is to show her that all of her efforts that God gave to her are still living in me. And so everything that I do, I would like to be able to help her get this vision seen into fruition as soon as possible.
All right, that's great. Well, it seems like you have great help with
Yes,
Maria
yeah,
helping
she
you
has a lot of knowledge.
getting you
Yes.
started, because I would love to see the theater up and opening myself, because I do a little drama play, so I
Oh,
do one
she
day
does.
to have a play at that
Mhm.
theater. So I'm looking forward to supporting the amphitheater in whatever way I can. I'm just excited about you having a vision for Clifton Street. Because, at one time, that street, well, I know when I was here, was not the best of the streets. But I can see that street being one of the best
Mhm.
The
streets
best.
in
Yes.
Waco, East Waco. So we want to make sure that we support Dr. Igerhart in her effort of wanting to revitalize the amphitheater. We know all things cost, it costs money, but we all should want to see something beautified in our community and willing to give. So what are some of the challenges that you have been facing in getting this fundraiser going for this amphitheater? You're getting a lot of support from the community or from people. So what are some challenges you have faced?
I face the challenges in that I haven't had that many people come together to want to donate.
Okay.
And maybe it could be that they may not see fully the value. And also it could be that they may not have a lot of funds.
That's true.
So they would have to make a decision on what is important for me to invest in.
Right.
But the thing that is the precursor to it is this daycare that we have called Academy for Artistic Development and Early Learning that we have at 1108 Faulkner. And so the focus there is on getting children into music, tiny ones,
Okay.
so they can begin to enjoy music and become a part of them early. And so the challenge then is to find others that would be willing to bring their musical talents in to help the children. So that by the time they get to high school, by the time they get to middle school, the theater will be ready. They'll be ready to come in there and do things. But the challenge has been getting others to buy into the vision.
Into the vision, right. And so what you just said, that you said you had a daycare also, right?
Yes.
Okay. And don't you have other entity ministry with your Just As I Am ministry
Yes,
that you do?
we have the
Tell us
apartments.
about that.
We have the apartments behind the old beauty supply building on Clifton.
Okay.
And the other thing we do is we do teleconferences 4 times a week to motivate people to have the spiritual base. We do them 5:30 on Wednesday and Thursdays, and then we do them at 7:30 on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. And I tell them you do it on Sunday mornings so that since it's a teleconference, you could be getting ready for your church, and you're gonna get some spirit with you, so you be already on fire when you get there, and you didn't pass your match and help someone else. And so we have maybe sometime a dozen or more people that come, they're regulars, and they're able, we use the upper room booklet as the base. And so I'm teaching them to be conscious in the spiritual way of things that they see in the natural, because then the spiritual connection can be made. And so that's the way those stories are written. And because as we become more spiritual, and I'm going to quote, he said, if my people, which are called by my name, humble themselves, pray, seek my face, turn back to me,
Mhm.
And so I think as a group of people, I think everything that happened, God is aware of it. And he knows
Oh,
what to
yes,
do to
he
get us
is.
back together in him. Because we were strong and have been strong. And so that's why it's a spiritual thing. And also the other thing was, when I began it, I had transition houses,
Okay.
2 transition houses, a 4-bedroom house on Selman, a 2-bedroom house on Calumet.
Mhm.
And that was before we had apartments. And it was some of those men that I'd met when I started bringing them in to realize they were valuable.
Mhm.
And there's one gentleman will be 19 years. This is our 20th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
And he's been 19 years in November, drug-free, alcohol-free.
Oh,
And he
Amen.
explains that he had been
Amen.
incarcerated 3 times.
Mm.
You know, he had been on substance, alcohol, and drugs. And now he has his own little ministry,
Oh.
writing letters to other people in prison and helping them, putting little monies on the books.
Right.
Since we don't take up offerings,
Mm.
it's free will. And so he gives his money and I give him money. And we help a lot of people.
Mm. So I have to compare you with Miss Fannie Lou Hamer. She was a strong woman who
Mhm.
wanted to help her people. And
Yes.
you also are seeking to help your people.
Yeah.
And you're reaching out in the community. And that's something that Miss Hamer did. She reached out in the community and asking people to come with her so that we can make things better.
Better.
And that's what we're looking for. So
Mhm.
we're excited about you as a woman who wants to improve the community
Mhm.
and improve the lives of others.
Right. And in the beginning, we did get a little help from Mr. Hoppenstein. He was like in his 90s then.
Oh.
Oh.
And so he donated us properties in South Waco,
Mhm.
across from K. Ross.
Mhm.
And he donated us the building that we have, clothes pantry and food pantry building, which is now called a Compassion Love Center,
Oh, okay.
which is run by Sister Macaria Massey
Mhm.
from McGregor. Because she said there is a need, greater need now by the families, since there are very few true dollar stores. And so what we bring in is personal hygienes and household goods. So people could come on Saturday
Mhm.
and get things for the babies and toothpaste and toothbrushes and things that cost, washing powder and all of that. So if anybody wants to volunteer, we'd love to have you come on and volunteer, help us.
Okay.
That's a great-
So before we get ready to close, anybody else on the panel have something to say or add to what has been said? We're so excited about the work that has been done.
I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Dr. Eichenhart,
Yes.
as you continue to grow in life,
Mhm.
what's next after you're no longer with us? Where would the theater go? Is there a plan already set out? What's the long-term vision?
The long-term vision is that the theater would be there long after I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes by getting a very effective board.
Mm.
Because we are, from the very beginning, a 501c3,
Oh, okay. That's good. to hear.
public charity.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I established that right away when I began taking them into the basement of a church.
Mhm.
And some of the people were making meals for them.
Mhm.
And then I wanted to put money into the church. And they said, well, no, Dr. we put it in, it's going to be used for whatever the church wants.
Mhm.
So immediately then, 20 years ago, then I started a 501c3.
Okay.
So we have bank accounts, 4 bank accounts.
Mhm.
We have a lot of things that is going on. And then we have board members and others that oversee, that we meet
Mhm.
and we discuss and plan.
So you have a succession plan in place? Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes, and I'd like to add, one of the questions were, what are some of the challenges? And I think
Mhm.
looking back and evaluating the entire organization, one of the challenges is having the board to be consistently involved in the plan. So there's a strategic planning process
Okay.
that needs to happen. We have a vision, we have a idea, And then we
Okay.
need the board to consistently and actively implement the strategic plan. And that's when the campaigns will roll out systematically and
Okay.
organized so that there will be an onset of people that will want to give and donate on a consistent basis.
Okay.
And that's all a part of the capital building plan that we are working on right now. So part of the restructuring, so to speak, along with the reconstruction
Okay.
is with the foundation of the organization so that the financial burden does not continue to lie on one person.
That's good.
Thank you. And that's a tough question, but
And it-
any organization, it is highly recommended that there is a succession plan. And
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Would you like to be involved with us?
Oh, we shall see.
Yeah. You hear that, Sister Maria?
Maria knows me.
Well, all right. Well, we are so glad to have you all with us today.
Thank you for having us.
I hope the people that are listening will decide to give to the amphitheater and will decide to donate. One more time, where can they go to donate?
They can go to wacoalpha.org.
Okay, wacoalpha.org. If you'd like to donate, make sure you go there and find which level you would like to be on. I'm sure she'd appreciate it in the platinum, all level, but if you have just the friend levels, they will take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So, go ahead.
And there are things that you gain by doing that.
Oh, okay.
Like you'll be given the invitations, you'll be able to attend some of the first
Mhm.
meetings and during the construction time, you'll be able to see some of the construction going on. So,
I would also like to say Weavers. This is a Weaver descendant from the Weaver family. My
oh,
daughter,
praise the Lord.
Miss Brigham,
Yes, it's beautiful.
Tyson Weaver Brigham.
So we're excited to have you today. We thank you all. Just want to say that National Women in Agriculture Association is a nonprofit organization also. And we're so excited to have our members with us. We have Janelle Ruth and we have Linda Weaver, and we have others out in the audience that are not with us. But we also have a community garden in East Waco where we ask people to come help volunteer because we believe growing your own food is the first step of being healthy.
Mhm.
And we think that growing your own food also contributes to long life.
Yes.
And so we want you to come and volunteer in our garden on Tuesday, tomorrow. We'll be there at 1:00. If you don't have anything to do, come and volunteer in the garden with us. And also on Wednesday, the Waco Downtown Farmers Market will be at the Bridge Street. And if you don't have anything to do, from 5 to 8 o'clock, stop by and shop with the vendors. They're going to have music. They're going to have yoga, skating. So please bring your children. It's going to be a nice event. And this is every Wednesday from now until May. So please come by and support the Waco Downtown Farmers Market on Wednesday. And of course, on Saturday, if you're not there Saturday, you're missing out. It's a crowd, big crowd.
Yes,
So we
it is.
thank you all for.
Okay, you want to tell them how we're working together?
Oh, yes. I do want to mention that Just As I Am Ministry, which is Dr. Agar is the founder, and my other organization, Global Revive, we're working together by putting community gardens around the amphitheater. So we're excited about expanding community gardens on Clifton Street. And we know that it's going to be something big and great.
Okay, yes.
Awesome.
So with that being said, thank you all. Anybody else have anything to say?
Don't forget tomorrow, Wednesday, don't get a $5 voucher.
Yes. If you come to the farmers market Wednesday, you get a $5 free voucher to spend
Wow.
with any of the booths. So come Wednesday at 5 o'clock. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Linda.
And I would like to thank
Dr.
Sister
Agar.
Kay Bell
Yes, yes.
for the job that she's
does.
doing and the vision that she has. And who would know that is coming to fruition?
Mhm.
Thank you
So-
so much. Well, thank you. And we will say it's better together, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
All right, all right.
I'm going